it's going to be a quickie, but let's be honest, it's been since the last time I did an episode. With that being said, I think I need to take the time, press pause on recording, take a step back, kind of reevaluate, because I realized I pressure on myself to get a lot of things done over the summer. I entered August and entered launch mode because I launched Evergreen Support Network in August. Right now I'm launching Solopreneur Sidekick. I'm going to kind of do another little promo phase for Evergreen Support Network again, and then we are going to go into Friday of summer. I was like, I'm going to get on Substack. I'm going to start my podcast. I'm going to launch Seattle Content Club. I'm going to figure out a way to revive Thrive Human. At the end of the day, too much, but not in a, oh my gosh, just burn it all down. But it was just okay, I need to relieve some of the pressure that I've put on myself. I need to take a step back. It's be okay. I'm really proud of myself. I'm ultimately so proud of myself for starting the podcast, for signing up for Substack, for running a beta membership program, Content Club. I haven't really touched Thriving Human yet, but I have an idea that I'm out. Said, all too often we're just told to push through it, to keep going, to continue just throwing spaghetti at the wall, and sometimes you really do need to take a step back and you need to really look at, pieces of spaghetti that are sticking. How can we double down on that, get really good at that, and then start adding some new things to, because into this summer, you're a client there, but the goal of the summer was to up my monthly reoccurring revenue. Solo No More is not doing that. Making enough content and not my Substack enough to be making money from that. Content Club, made a little money. We'll talk more about this in another episode. I shot myself in the foot with how I had to make money from Seattle Content Club, and so ultimately I had to push pause, and I was like, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. I want this membership to look. I knew that I was going into launch mode, and I was like, mid-August, I was like, I just need to press pause on everything. I need to focus on these launches. I need to get through these launches. And let me just tell you, I'm so glad that I did, because I now have some of the dreamiest clients in Support Network. I signed my very first client into Solo No I almost said Solo No More. Nope. Anyone into Solo No More. It's a podcast. But I did sign my very first client into Solopreneur Sidekick, and we will dive to that in another episode, because that is such a fascinating story and a very interesting journey, and I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked more about, because, and I will give you a little tease into, I've been launching Solopreneur Sidekick for a year, and I got my very first client at the year anniversary of my first launch of Solopreneur Sidekick. So monthly reoccurring revenue is up. It's now giving me the mental capacity to think about other things. So now what I'm adding is I'm adding Solo No More into the mix, and I am starting to think about what I'm scheduling, create and connect for next year to start out, and starting to also think about what do I want back to look like, and what I want that to kind of, what do I want the structure, the cadence, all that to be. Is that going forward, every Wednesday you are going to get a new episode of Solo No More. My goal is for this podcast to be able to come and just kind of the experiences of another person, but also really focused and targeted to young adult entrepreneurs. I am 24, entrepreneur, and I want to be able to, share tips and tricks for how to scale, but also kind of share about, the more personal experiences. What I find is that not every challenge you go through in business is unique to you and your business, in terms of everyone has issues with their pricing structure at some point. Their website needs to be built. Like those types of like business logistical things, like everyone goes through that at some point, having a plateau in social media growth and those types of things. The thing that makes your problems unique ultimately is what you bring into the mix. And so that's more of your personal life and that stuff. And so I'm very going into this next phase of Solo No More, because I feel like now we are actually entering season 1, where all the episodes before this were more, dinking around saying what worked, what I'm talking about, or it's really going to be, let me share about, my true experience and what my clients are going through. You can see that you are not alone these experiences and these challenges, because ultimately, let's be honest, we are not showing up on Instagram talking about dollar months. We are sharing about the 10K months. We are not talking about how many times we've had to launch a program, or the program or the business that we had to shut down because it wasn't making money. And so start talking more about that and kind of talking about, the strategies and things that I did to get out of those places to solve those problems, what I'm doing to help my clients. This is really going to be a mix of business and lifestyle, and to be very unfiltered, still very unedited. Excited, and I really am glad that I took the time to kind of take a step back, reevaluate, and I'm really excited about this next chapter. So thank you so much for listening to Solo No More. I'm your host, Catryce, and I will talk to you next week.